Like I literally like dropped the book out of my hand and
I did not see that coming at all.
Mad
at
props.
all.
Mad props.
At all.
Welcome to Narratives and Nightcaps, books, beverages, and author conversations. I'm Bree, always ready to dive into new fantasy worlds and take a step back in time.
I'm Megan, part critic, always team physical copy, and forever chasing good thrillers and a great plot twist.
I'm Emily, your resident mood reader who thrives on chaos questions and lively book chats.
And I'm Jordan, equal parts heart, humor, and high-functioning caffeine addict. I come with coffee in hand, wine on standby, and a Gilmore Girls quote for every occasion.
Cheers!
Cheers! Hello! How's it going, everyone? Happy St. Patrick's Day! You all look so good in your green, you know? Different shades. I mean, we all chose kind of like a darkish shade almost, though, too.
I think olive is like all I have when
Yeah.
it comes to green.
Yeah.
You know? But it still works. It still counts as green. I love
It's
it.
not what I wore all day. I wore a huge baggy sweatshirt
Oh, same.
that was blue the whole day, and I put this on.
Did anybody pinch you?
I barely left the house today. I mean, I actually say that, but no, nobody pinched me. I've only been to the vet's office twice today, and nobody was pinching me at the vet's office.
Well, that was nice of them.
Yeah.
Is that even still a thing? I mean, my husband did it to me this morning when I didn't have green on. I don't know how serious the whole pinching.
I remember
on
that being like
day
more
is.
serious on the playground. Like
Right.
playground rule, like elementary school, 3rd, 4th, 5th grade, like you fair game if you
No,
did
same.
Not gonna lie, I'd be really creeped out if somebody pinched me. Just
Yeah.
like
Just
Yeah.
randomly.
As an adult, I feel like
I'd be a little concerned.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
In bigger news, I finished Project Hail Mary today.
Yay! Oh my
Fingers for that like reaction.
I finished it. I did the audiobook because it was the only way I was going to be able to finish that before we saw the movie. We literally have tickets to go to the movie this Friday.
What are your
Good.
thoughts?
So I did the audiobook. Emily, your recommendation for that was like spot on. It was so
It's so good on audio.
It was so good. And I told Megan this too. I was hooked on chapter 2. I was like, I'm invested.
Yeah.
I want to know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So I finished it. I loved it. I thought it was absolutely incredible. I cannot wait to see the film this weekend.
Okay.
I'm going to go see it this weekend too. I'm so excited.
I have 2 big questions. What are your thoughts on Rocky?
I love him. I think he's like the greatest alien to ever exist. I'm obsessed
Wonderful.
with him. If wherever there is life out there, I hope it is exactly like Rocky. If a Rocky showed up on Earth, I would be like, this is the best thing ever.
Yes.
ever.
Yes.
I loved him. I will say, having seen the trailer, that's not quite what I had in my head. But I immediately jumped on. I'm here for it. But I loved him.
Okay, now I'm curious. What did you have in your, not to derail from the book we're going to talk about, but what did you have in your head for a Rocky?
I pictured him like a little bit bigger and less bulky, I guess.
Okay. Fair.
I will say, I have not allowed myself to watch any trailers despite finishing the book. Like, I want to walk into the theater when I get to see it and just be totally surprised.
We all know Megan loves to go in blind.
I'm a blind girl, yes. So I guess I'll be curious what you guys think after seeing it more, like, and seeing, more of him on screen, what you think of how he's portrayed.
Are we all going to go see it in theaters? Who all has plans to go see it?
I would love to have plans.
I would love to have plans, yeah. I would like to make plans, but I can't.
That's fair. That's understandable.
I'm big on like home movies. So when things are released on streaming, even if it's an extra like $20 or whatnot, we will do fancy snacks and fun dinner and like, do the extra to do at home movie. simply because with our kids are too young. They don't even sit still for like 5 minutes. Would be no way.
No, that's fair. That's fair.
Okay, final question. Sorry on this one, Brie, and others, because I think, Megan, we talked about this cryptically on another episode. What are your thoughts on the ending?
Okay, well, I guess still keeping it spoiler free for anybody that's listening that hasn't read it, I will say that I liked the ending. I thought it was very like heartwarming, and I thought it was, not to sound super cheesy, but like a pretty beautiful ending when it could have been a very tragic ending. So, I personally really liked it.
Good.
I was in the same boat. I thought I was heading towards tragedy, and I was like gearing my heart up for epic like breakage and
devastation.
Yeah.
I literally had to, because I just finished it this morning as I was driving to the vet's office. And I like it hit the last chapter, and however it starts, I literally had to hit rewind because I was like, did I just hear all of this correct? I was like, there's no way. I was like, did I just hear all of this? And so I'm hitting rewind so I could re-listen to it too. I was like, I didn't make it up. And I wasn't just playing in my head. This is real.
Wow.
I like that. I feel like the general consensus is like the girls really appreciated the ending, and then I feel like all of our husbands were like, meh.
Anticlimactic.
Better. I don't know.
Yeah,
I really liked it too.
They were rooting for the devastation, Megan. They were wanting the.
Well, and I don't know if it was so much that they're rooting for like the devastation as much as they're just like, my husband's more words were, this is so unrealistic. And I was like, yes, it's science fiction. It's not supposed to be real. So I think he was wanting a more like realistic ending, if you will. Again, not necessarily rooting for tragedy, but just like what you would have expected to happen.
Didn't realistic like go out the door when Rocky showed up?
I was like, it's a book about an alien, my guy. Like, what are you doing?
What do you think? That's actually a good segue like into wrapping up this series. I feel like, do we feel like this could have been realistic? So we know we're talking about Morning Star by Pierce Brown. We're wrapping up our Red Rising series, listener. If there were hypothetically life on alternative planets, on other planets, do we think that this could have been a very real picture of what life could have been like?
I think so. And maybe this is where, so in reading Morning Star, maybe I'm jumping ahead, but I like, especially with the other planets that we explore in this one, I got major Star Wars vibes at certain parts. Because there's an ice planet, and there's like Mars is the desert scape planet, and you have like different scenes. So I guess it's realistic because I grew up on Star Wars, so that's all that's in my head when reading like interplanetary space, stuff. But I think so.
I was thinking maybe. I don't know. I could see it potentially.
I guess I'm more curious, what concept are we thinking is realistic? Because like obviously there's the depiction of everything, but if we're talking like starting over, class systems, essentially slavery all over again, if that's realistic, part of me also wants to say yes.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like
that's
what like if we had no, if we all went into war again and we had just like total, I don't know, road rage, but war rage or whatever, like I feel like that totally could all happen again, which is scary, but I don't think that's unrealistic.
No, I would agree. What do you think, Brie?
I think that the classism and the politics of it are realistic. I don't know that I am so much on board with like the space travel being super realistic. That one is
She said,
to
"Don't
me
sign me
that
up for
like
that."
that one I mean, I realize it's sci-fi, but like this so much borders on fantasy to me when it comes to that specifically. But in terms of like what the plot is, regardless of the location and the fact that it's happening on a bunch of different planets, I yeah, scarily think that it is quite realistic.
Yeah, I mean, if you get rid of the science fiction aspect, this is just a dystopian novel. Like,
right.
period.
That's true. That is very true.
Yeah.
Well, if we have nothing else, let's dive into it. Before I get into like any of the plot or synopsis, Emily, I'm super intrigued. So please tell us about our drink pairing.
We're on video, so right? Good. Again, you can't see the orange on top, but I promise it's right there. So for closing out this series, this one's been really fun. Not only this drink, but I just think this whole series, for me personally, we've been on a bourbon adventure. So if we kind of rewind like the clock and how this evolved, with Red Rising, it was an old fashioned, right? Yep. Which is bourbon and sugar. So that was our raw rebellion, like beginning, starting up, sugar's gritty, right? We were getting things moving. With Golden Sun, it was a Manhattan, a little more elevated. Darrow was fully into gold society. He was trying to rise the ranks, and it was bourbon and vermouth, sweet vermouth. So a little smoother, a little more elevated. This is where it became more about politics and strategy, but we already talked in the last episode that, Golden Sun, I think Megan, you used the words, was just war. Like war, one page of strategy, war, page of strategy, like down the line. So then we get to Morning Star, which is where I've paired it with a Sons of Aries. I'm going to butcher this, but Boulevardier. I think I said that right.
That sounds right.
Which is bourbon and Campari with sweet vermouth. So there is definitely, like, I don't know if you've had one before, but it tastes a bit like an old fashioned, but with a bitter finish, which we can talk about towards the end of the book. But this is revolution, sacrifice. We see ultimately the culmination at the end of Morning Star, that the rebellion ends. And we'll talk, I'm sure, Jordan, about how that comes to be, but it's over, but not without sacrifice and a little bit of bitterness kind of sprinkled throughout with certain decisions. So, if we kind of wrap it all together, the bourbon throughout the whole series was the core that never changes. This is Darrow, right? This is, we keep the base across all three. And that's Darrow. He stays pretty consistent, though he does have changes throughout. The sweet vermouth also stayed over from the Manhattan from book 2, which is really, for me, kind of a pairing about the remnants of Gold Society. So, Megan, you were just, I think, making this comment as well, and Jordan and Bree, that even though the rebellion, is over at the end of this book, Gold Society doesn't go away overnight. It still has a lot that needs to be dismantled or worked through, however you want to call it. And then Campari is the cost of revolution. So if you've ever seen a bottle of Campari, it's like where Aperol is orange, Campari is bright red, right? Coming up from the beginning, blood red, bitter, unapologetic, as I said, a bitter finish. So that is the Sons of Aries. I'm going to, again, Boulevardier. I'm going to butcher that.
Boulevardier.
Thank you.
Cheers. It looks so good. I really, and how's it taste? You're liking it?
I like it. I am not a sweet drink person. I can't do, I'm not sweet anything. So I do kind of like the bit of a bitter finish.
Nice. Yeah. Okay. Well, I kind of love the evolution of all of these and how you've kind of stepped up each one. Fun. I just think it's so cool how it's grown and evolved the same way that the trilogy has. I will go ahead and get into our plot, and then we can just kind of discuss and talk about some highlights of the book, what we thought. Okay, so listener, here is Morning Star by Pierce Brown. Darrow would have lived in peace, but his enemies brought him war. The gold overlords demanded his obedience, hanged his wife, and enslaved his people. But Darrow is determined to fight back. Risking everything to transform himself and breach Gold Society, Darrow has battled to survive the cutthroat rivalries that breed the Society's mightiest warriors, climbed the ranks, and waited patiently to unleash the revolution that will tear the hierarchy apart from within. Finally, the time has come. But devotion to honor and hunger for vengeance run deep on both sides. Darrow and his comrades in arms face powerful enemies without scruple or mercy. Among them are some Darrow once considered friends. To win, Darrow will need to inspire those shackled in darkness to break their chains, unmake the world their cruel masters have built, and claim a destiny too long denied and too glorious to surrender. So before we get into some of like the highlights, what were our thoughts and feelings over this one overall?
I think I said this on the last episode, but Morningstar was my favorite book of the trilogy. I thought that I really liked, I feel like we had like Hunger Games a bit in Red Rising. It was kind of almost too parallel for me on that one. I liked Golden Sun, but it was a lot of war. There was just a lot in that book. Yeah. And I loved Morningstar because I felt like it brought the best of both into this third installment. And I really liked getting to explore more of the world. Like we see Ragnar's world, we see the moon. I'm going to forget, but like we get to see kind of different aspects. We get to the Rim and we actually get to see or read about like what the Rim is like. So I liked that part because there felt like there was a bit more strategy involved while still war, but maybe not, as there were 3 pages in between war, not 1. I liked it the most.
Okay. No, that's a good way to like sum it up. What about either of you, Brie or Megan? What did you think?
So like Emily, I think we maybe mentioned this last book. So to me, Red Rising was number 1 and this one was number 2. Like, I mean, they're neck and neck. Okay. I totally agree with Emily. Like, to me, Red Rising, like, the setup was just too good. Like, I think that's what hooked me on this series was reading that novel. I think if you would have reordered these in any way, shape, or form, it just would not have been the same. So to me, I think that's like why that's number 1 is because that hooked me initially. But this one, to Emily's point, like I just feel like this is so well-rounded. You have literally everything and literally everyone in one book, all coming together, good, bad, or ugly. And I think what I really liked about this particular one is that, like Emily said, you have war, but it's a lot more of I think the human element, that manipulation part, the political aspects, at this point, I feel like Darrow is finally like 2 steps ahead. Like I'm just rooting for him the whole time. Like, yes, dude, you got it. But then there's moments throughout the book that I'm like, oh my God, like that didn't just happen. And I'm sure we'll get to those moments too. But I feel like this one just had, I mean, it's so cliche, but like this one had it all. I just really, really liked this book.
Yes. And what about you, Brie?
I agree. I mean, I thought it was epic, like all caps epic. I say this in the best way. I was like majorly stressed out reading this. Like I would say at the beginning and then probably like the last 80 to 100 pages, I was talking to Megan a little bit about it. Like at one point we went to go for a walk with our dog and Jared was like, what are you, you're not really saying? I was like, I'm so stressed out right now. Like my head is only in this book.
In this world.
Yeah, I was like, I can't leave. And I will say, I mean, I even since finishing it, like I just find myself thinking about it, which I think just shows like how powerful of a story it is and how consuming the world has been in the best way. I loved it. I thought it was like heart-wrenching. I thought the politics and the manipulation and all of that was so interesting, but like Darrow's character arc and the character arc for some of the other characters in this story in particular, I know we're going to get to it, so I won't even like jump there, but was just so incredibly well done. And when we look at all of the books and like where we started, I'm just like blown away by the story.
If I can mention one character that I like fell in love with, it's freaking Victra. I love her. She is so badass. Like the whole time I was kind of like, you're towing the line for me. Like I don't actually know if you're friend or foe. And then she like totally turns around and I'm like, hell yes, sister. I love you.
There was even a moment like later in Morningstar where I was like, because I was same thing. Like I love the back and forth with her, and I got to a point where I was like, oh yeah, I'm in her corner for sure. And then she said one thing, and I was like, wait, did I just totally flip sides? I was like, what is happening?
What's happening?
She wasn't like a main character on my radar the first two books.
No.
And then this book was her moment to shine. This was her like
Agreed.
spotlight. Yeah.
And then like to spoil something a little bit, but then like her and Severo getting together, I was like, oh, I love
No, that
this.
just seemed like the perfect pairing. 100%. I will have to agree with that.
I was a little worried about Severo. The Howlers and Severo are like my ride or die favorite pack of characters, pun intended, in this entire series. And like, you know, we go through, I'm just going to jump right into spoilers here. Okay?
Yes.
We had like
This
Darrow
is our series special. We're spoiler friendly.
No, we're
spoiling.
diving in. But we had Darrow and Mustang, and they were going through their own struggles, and you know, are they, aren't they, kind of thing. But they were sort of together, right? Cassius, we knew, was working on himself, and that probably was for a good thing. But like Severo, I was going, buddy, like your mom was taken from you, your dad was tragically like killed, right? You had your Howlers, but like where, you know, there's someone for you out there in the universe. And then Victor came in and it was great.
Yes.
Yeah.
This is such a silly moment, but I was literally laughing out loud when he calls Mustang horsey.
The band, I will say, as far as like my opinion of this book, the banter definitely picked up. Not that Red Rising and Golden Sun didn't have it, like it definitely had it a little bit more, but this book, especially being the third book in the series, you know, these characters have gotten to know each other a little bit more. They've obviously been doing life together. They've had some history and things like that. And so I can always appreciate just the wittiness, the back and forth, the banter of it all. I thought that was definite, and that was, I mean, just chef's kiss. That was just perfection for Victor's character. I do have to agree. If we're going off of like different character arcs and like development, talking about kind of from the beginning. So listener, when we go through the beginning, right, there's like Darrow's imprisonment, he's tortured, blah, blah, blah. And the Jackal's been holding him captive, all these things. That kind of transitions me into Cassius, because Cassius made an appearance pretty early on. What do we think about his kind of flip-flopping through the book a little bit? Because we can talk about that and how that happened. And I couldn't make heads or tails about how I felt about it, to be perfectly honest.
This isn't going to be a fully formed thought on it, so like,
go for it.
But I'll just kind of...
It's not like my question was a fully formed question.
Cassius to me is, well, this kind of like, to bring back the question or the thought earlier about like, is this realistic? Is it not? Da, 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 da. Cassius to me is a great character portrayal of like someone realistically handling the situation, and that I do. This is not excusing it or justifying it in any way, shape, or form. But I could see someone of his background and then, you know, put that in any other situation, having the struggles that he has, and like Emily was saying, needs to work on himself a bit. So to me, Cassius is like a very realistic portrayal of how someone would handle some of these situations, just maybe with like a little bit less brutality, hopefully.
That's fair.
I felt for Cassius in parts of this book, because I think we saw a side like Brie, you were saying, someone of his background, to me, he's someone who grew up thinking the world is one way because that's what he was taught and that's what he was exposed to and that's like all he knew. And now he's being thrown into situations and having to make decisions for himself on behalf of others that it feels very much like not the world that he expected to have to live in. Mm-hmm. And that's hard for anybody, right? Like just period, to have to break with what you knew growing up and then recognizing reality for what it is. And that, I think, to your point, Brie, he was a really well-written character for someone realistically struggling with what to do in that moment.
Yeah. I think it's why we see a lot of characters like that. If we think about just a lot of other book series out there too, there's sometimes it's the main character, sometimes it is a B character like Cassius, although he's been around for a long time, but I think having this element because it can feel very relatable for people to, even when you're reading something sci-fi or you're reading something fantasy, because to an extent, but not quite as drastic or dramatic, like it's not uncommon for people to experience or to grow up, like you were saying, Emily, and you think the world is one way or you think something operates a certain way, and then to have that totally flipped on its head. And it's not natural for all of a sudden someone to be like, oh, yep, okay, well, everything I know, I'm just going to leave that behind now and jump on this bandwagon. Like, that's not typical. So I think he's an excellent character that, you do feel for him, but it's okay to oscillate kind of back and forth about how you feel about him because you should.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so this leads me then to think of a question, like, why do you feel we're more forgiving of Cassius going through this than Roke? I mean, he's facing the exact same reality, and obviously he handled it differently, but like he has his moments where he's like very much expressing like, this is all I know. Like, I don't know what else you want from me. This is all I can do. And I feel like we're a little more quick to throw him to the side. I mean, obviously he doesn't even make it, but I feel like we're a lot more forgiving of Cassius going through this exact same battle that Roke is also going through.
I mean, I don't think that I felt for Roke too, and I thought showcasing like how Darrow feels for him too was like a really interesting and compelling part of the story, because I mean, I think that's really natural too, to have had a friendship and like feel that sort of loss even when you know like they can't see it any differently. And so I think you can still feel for that person even if you don't agree with them. And so I thought that was like a compelling part. I don't know that I look at it as like forgiveness of either one of them necessarily. I think it's a really interesting way to showcase like the different paths of that generalization can go down.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting, Megan, I love this question.
Yeah.
Because throughout the entire book, I feel like Darrow, for both Cassius and Roke, as they're going through the ups and downs and the like, oh, we like them, we don't like them, and it's like back and forth. Darrow the whole time, my sense was very consistent that he would have accepted both back into the fold. Like there was never a point where I doubted Darrow's ability to forgive either Roke and or Cassius.
Well, and even in the humility that he had when Mustang called him out on it, like, and he acknowledged, here's exactly where I could have course corrected with Roke, but I didn't. Just to add to your point.
No, that's exactly. And I think the difference, though, for me, both Roke and Cassius like held honor to the highest, like that was the character trait that was most important to both of them. But the big difference for me was Cassius was also open to the concept that things can change. People can change, things can change, situations can change. And that was the one trait where Roke did not believe that. At least like through the book, right?
And he seemed to see things way more black and white.
There was no room for gray. And the scene that broke my heart was the Rim, when they were all at the Rim and they were negotiating, and it was Roke and Darrow, and then you had the Rim lords, if you will, or governors, right? But the leaders, and both Roke and Darrow were trying to convince the Rim leaders to join their side. And Roke was on the side, right, of the Sovereign, and Darrow was obviously on the rebellion. And like, I think back on that scene, the whole time, I'm like, oh my gosh, like, you're on a planet on the rim of the solar system. Go take a walk and just like fight it out, talk it out. Like, what do you guys need to do to like come back together? Because they like both wanted it in a way, but like Roke, his honor was too, like, he couldn't do it for his honor, and he didn't believe that things were going to change, and it just like sealed his fate after that scene.
It's just a very interesting portrayal of like human psychology.
Yes.
And how, because I know we've talked about this before, but like with this series in particular just does a really good job of it. But like, it makes me think back to some of the authors that we've interviewed who have literally been like, I mean, part of my job is to analyze like how certain personalities would respond to situations, or like everybody has a limit, and what is that thing that pushes them to that limit that makes them respond a certain way. And this story is like such an incredible analysis of emotional intelligence and personality traits, all of that.
Yes. That scene in particular, this is like such a weird path to go on, but has anyone seen Princess Bride? We're all millennials, I feel like.
Sure. Yeah. 100%.
So you know when there's like the battle of wits, and it's like it's supposed to be like har funny, and like it's all, you know, riddles and jokes and stuff. And it's, you know, who poisoned the cup. Like, to me, that's what this scene was. It was just truly like a battle of wits, who can outpace who, and who can, you know, someone showing their hand but then hiding the rest of it. It's just that was the parallel that I made, is just the battle of wits for that scene.
No, that's
and then I just hated that like Roke ends up being not like humiliated, but like dismissed afterwards. Like, sorry, sir, you're not good enough for this.
Well, he ends up getting dismissed for multiple reasons, though, too, right? Because, oh gosh, I'm trying to remember now what it was that was uncovered. There was information that was manipulated, right? The Sovereign had been taking...
So Darrow manipulated information and said that there were nuclear warheads.
Yes, I was going to say it was the bombs
on a moon. The bomb. There was a bomb like on a moon that was within striking distance of the Rim, and Roke was saying no, we removed all of those, and Darrow like came in with evidence that had been
that they didn't
tampered with.
Yes,
and he got called out at the end of the battle. I forget the Rim Lord's name, right? But he got called out at the end, where the guy's like, "Okay, where are those bombs? Where's the plan?" And Darrow was like vague about it. And it's like, it was one of those conversations where they both know what happened, and they just decided to part as neutral parties at best.
Yes.
For now.
Yeah, for now. Was it Ra? No.
Romulus?
Who was Romulus? Yes.
Yes. It was Romulus. Yeah. And then later on too, right? Like, as they like have their battle, Darrow is like sacrificing these ships. This also, trigger warning listener, like ends up being around the time Roke commits suicide, but then Darrow enters into this plan essentially against Romulus and like what he had initially told Romulus that he was going to do. Yeah. So, which that's the whole point of like what we're talking about, how Darrow has been 2 steps ahead, 3 steps ahead. I mean, I would argue that he probably always knew that that was likely his intention and that that was what he was going to do. He was prepared to do
Okay,
that.
this is a very, very small thing, but like general question while we're talking about this scene in particular. So
Yes.
Roke takes his own life, and Darrow is obviously quite upset about it, and everybody else is very dismissive of the fact. They're like, all right, good riddance, he's gone, like Severo, Mustang, everybody. But Seffi, is that how you?
The
Yes.
queen.
Seffi?
Yeah.
Okay. I was like, someone's gonna come at me and be like, it's Seafy. And
No.
I'm like,
Ew. If that's how you're saying it, no.
Like,
Actually,
everything's
Brie, it's
Seffi.
Peleus.
No.
No. I just want to go on the record and say that Sarah J. Maas literally said that if you're reading it, you can say it however you want.
You are right. You
So, like,
You've
I just want that on the record.
been recorded.
No.
Yes.
Okay, yes. What were you saying about Seffi?
Okay, but Seffi is like is the one to respond and like be understanding of Darrow.
Yes.
I don't understand why, because she is also this very like brutal.
Well, she
Powerful.
turns around later and definitely like gets her. Yeah, like she.
But even before, I mean, that's like kind of how we know, like what we know about her. And I was like, it was so interesting that she was the one to come from a place of like compassion for him.
I took it a different way with Seffi, maybe because she's like, she didn't speak, right? I mean, like when we first meet her, she doesn't speak and she's observing everything, and she only speaks after she kills her mom. And she's raised in this warlord society, basically, of like kill or be killed or be enslaved. Like those are kind of your choices. I took that scene with Seffi and Roke as like Roke was the warlord, like to put it in her terms, like of the enemy. He was the enemy. Are you okay, Megan?
You doing all right over there?
That Roke was the enemy warlord. And even in Seffi's culture, what I picked up is like honor in war and honor in battle was still very prevalent. So I took it as she like respected Roke's decision, and that's really weird to say that what happened, but like she like was coming not necessarily from compassion, but from like acknowledging that he had honor in the battle.
Okay, interesting. No, that's a good point. I guess I was so thrown off by like the line of like, oh, she recognized like he was a friend or something.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you, Emily. I feel like I can see that take for sure. I also kind of just felt like, and maybe because I'm coming off of reading other books, but like to me, the Obsidian people seem to have this like tribal kind of connection as well. You know, like their god, their afterlife is like the All Mother. And so like to me, I almost took it as her kind of pulling from this tribal, like, you see what has to happen, like it has to begin this way and it has to end this way. And so it was almost like even a step back from like the battles going on and this like warlord, you know, all of that, and just kind of like acceptance of this is death and this is what has to happen, and I'm sorry that this happened to you, but you know, just compassion in that way of like, now someone has died, you know. That's kind of the scene, I guess, that I took it as, but I think we're all right.
No, I appreciate that interpretation. I guess while we're on the subject of death, we're going to talk about the one. Oh no. Okay, yeah, let's avoid it for a chaos question. That's great.
Chaos question, because we're talking about some of this a point ago. So I'm curious what everyone's take is. What trait do you think wins wars in this universe? Like, what trait of the following is the key to winning battles and wars? Is it Mustang's strategy, Darrow's risk-taking, or Severo's chaos?
Can I say Jackal's psychoticness?
Megan created a new option for herself, option E.
I mean, he was winning
all of the above.
chaos question. all like nothing's off the table. So sure.
No, that won't be my real answer. I'll think about it further.
I don't know. I definitely rule out Sevro's chaos. He has a period of time in this book where he is just absolutely unhinged. And I literally was like, I don't even know who you are anymore. And whoever this is, I don't care for it. I don't like it. So I am going to say that's probably not my answer. I want to say Mustang's strategy, to be completely honest, because I love how, ultimately she ends up becoming sovereign in the end, right? So if that doesn't speak to winning, and if that doesn't speak to, strategic plotting and winning wars, I don't know what does. But obviously Darrow also played a huge part in that. So I don't know. What about you, Brie?
I'm going to take the cop-out answer and say that I think it takes all three. I don't think you win the war on just one. So I think that I think Darrow is a really good example of, it's taken him 3 books, but he knows that you need all 3. And you don't win the war without that. So then, and that's how you take the jackal down at the end, is when you use everybody's different strengths and put them together. So it's not just one. I think you ultimately lose the war if you lift up one more than the others.
That's true.
It's a good answer. Good answer, Shepherd. Good answer. You keeping the peace, keeping everyone together. No, I kind of like the idea of, I think, Mustang's strategy. Like, I just feel like you have to, throughout this whole series too, like, you have to be the person that's 2 steps ahead. If that means you have to infiltrate and be under the sovereign to like learn all of her secrets, then you need to do that. If that means that you are hiding away in a cave and everyone thinks that you're dead, but you're not, you need to do that. Like, I feel like there is so much to say about strategic thinking and plotting, good or bad, that will ultimately get you the kingdom. I think that's how you have to go about it.
Yeah.
Well, and it also helps to be a little bit psycho, that too.
I was going to say, though, like, as you were saying that, like, how many times was Mustang and just her plotting, her strategy, like, her thought process, right? Like, Mustang and Darrow work so well together as a team. And they do so because they play off of each other's strengths. They acknowledge the weaknesses, but there are plenty of those conversations behind the scenes that we get to see between Mustang and Darrow too, right? Where she literally will tell him, what do you think I was doing when I was doing this, when I was at that table, when this was happening, this was what I was thinking. I'm just like you, thinking ahead. It's only your perception of it sometimes, like sometimes that would cause them a little tension or a little friction. But I do like that answer, just to conclude that as well, that you need some combination of all of the above. So I don't know.
I agree. I think, Brie, you said it very well, and Jordan too, but it takes all 3. Like, ultimately that was the final scene, right? Is everybody playing to their strength, and they won the war in that regard. But I do, and Mustang's strategy was superb, and Darrow's risk taking is all there. I'm gonna have to vote Severo, though, if you force my hand to make a choice. Simply because in the heat of battle, like, what's the quote that goes, everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? Like,
something like that, sure.
You go in with Mustang strategy and Darrow's willing to take these risks, and then you like enter the heat of battle and it's just all over the place.
Yeah.
And time again, Severo's chaos, like the willingness to just be over the top, risk-taking, chaotic in that moment, has won them more battles. Like, it seems like that was the trend across the board. But that's if you force me to make a choice. Otherwise, I'm completely with you. It takes all three.
Yeah. See, I think that's an interesting way to phrase it, though, Emily, because yes, Severo's winning battles, but he's not winning the war.
And that came out.
Yes.
That came out in the, like, when Jordan, you were saying he went unhinged, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And it is just so crazy because after they rescue Darrow and, their Reaper is back and whatever, and all of a sudden he sees all of these things that Severo has been doing, right? And it's almost like, I can't remember if this is exactly what they say, but I feel like Severo and Darrow have a conversation almost where it's like, oh, well, I was just thinking, what would the Reaper do? What would Darrow do? And Darrow's literally like, I would not have done, I wouldn't have done those things. So maybe we need to reassess what we think of my thought process, and then seeing other people's, other people and their thought processes and their interactions with it. Darrow has other conversations with other characters too. I think Victra is even one perhaps that kind of calls it out and says to Darrow, like, you got to do something because this is just not, this is not the Severo that we knew. This is completely, but what's awesome is Severo's 180 that he does have, and he's able to make a turn, and he's able to see, okay, maybe I was a little too chaotic, maybe I was doing things a little too far, to one side. And there's a scene where I think he finally acknowledges all of that, and he has a conversation with Darrow.
And but it wasn't a conversation. They literally had to beat each other up.
Yeah, it's after they fight it out. You're right. It's after they fight it out. But go ahead.
It's such a guy response where that's always don't people joke about they're like guys will literally just punch it out with each other and girls won't talk. It's like that episode of New Girl where Jess and Cece stop talking and Coach is like, I don't understand why they don't just go hit each other. And
yeah, one of my favorite parts of this book was when Darrow and Severo walked back in bloodied and bruised, and they clearly had been fighting. And I forget, it was either Mustang or Victra or one of the girls was like, oh, you finally worked it out. Thank goodness. Can we get back to the things that I didn't like?
Yeah.
Okay. Also, and sorry, this is because I literally listened to Giggly Squad today, but talking about Mustang strategy and all of that, if Mustang was already running this show, there would be no war.
So true.
Probably not.
If she was, there'd be no war.
Probably
I feel
not.
like she would have just weaseled her way into oops, now I'm sovereign, and now I'm gonna make all these changes. Okay. Whoopsies.
Just because we're on the topic of Mustang, not to jump, to jump too far ahead, but I was shocked when I got to the ending and found that she had hidden a child and can you just. Anybody else? I literally dropped the book out of my hand. And
I did not see that coming at all.
Mad props.
At all.
That was insane.
That was.
And they named it. Do we know the name? Okay, I was gonna say. Wait, do we know the name of this book?
Oh,
it's so
was
sweet.
Very sweet. That was very, very sweet.
Which I was just that was the scene where I was like, my goodness, she was not just 2 steps ahead. She was 4 steps ahead.
And she was 9 steps ahead, 9 months ahead also. That's what I meant.
Well, and in that moment too, you're all of your aggravation, all of your frustration with this man, 150% valid, 110%, absolutely. Because you have, she
said, there were so many Easter eggs that made sense after you finished the book, where she said so many times something to the effect of I'm still deciding if you're worthy. I'm still deciding if you're worth it. It was something it was always a variation of that sentiment. And I was like, what? Do you like the guy or do you not? What do you do? Make a choice.
Yeah.
Now it makes more sense.
Yes. Well, no, the whole time I was like, what? Because And even Derek, he's like, she's testing me. She's testing me. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, but why?
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 What is she testing you about?
And even he was like, I thought that like, I'd pass the test, but I was like, I thought you did too. I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
And until we know that part, I thought she was like feeling him out to be the leader of like the Republic.
Oh.
That's where my mind went. And then it was
Which
like,
also
oh,
makes
actually,
sense.
it's to be a father. It's to be the father.
Yeah.
To know that you're the father, because you're already like, yeah.
Garo, you are the father. 100%.
Go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I feel like we're glossing over like a really big portion / pun intended, I guess, that we should discuss.
Yeah.
Which is our boy.
Far.
I didn't want to talk about it.
We have to.
We have to talk about it.
I personally was on edge the entire time they were in that world. I was just like, you're going to get eaten by what's in the sea. You're going to get cannibal eaten by other obsidians. You're going to get killed by Cassius and Aja. Like, there's so many. You're going to die. You're going to die when you're here. You're not going to make it back. That's what I thought the whole time.
Yeah. No, and it was a very, very, it was a brutal death too. Funny story, listener, is my husband does not physically read his books. He listens to his books. He's like an audiobook only, strictly listener. And he's been loving this series. And he started the series a little bit after me. And he started this book specifically a little bit after me. And then he ended up finishing basically at the same time. But very early on, when I already knew that Ragnar died, he told me, oh, I just love Ragnar. Like, Ragnar's my favorite character. And I knew that all my podcast girlies, I knew Megan, Emily, Bree, like I knew that all of you had finished the book. And so I texted them and I said, so I don't really know how to respond to this. I just kind of, was like, yeah, Ragnar's awesome. And not an hour or two later, all of a sudden, he's upstairs, I'm downstairs. We're both reading at some point or another. And I just hear, Pierce Brown, you suck. And I was like, are you? Yeah. Are you okay?
Like, well, Ragnar's dead. Going about your day.
Yeah.
Glad that you now know that.
I have to say, Jordan, I had a similar experience, but so my husband read this series like years ago. So he was asking questions like as I was reading it. And I did the same
like
thing.
Refreshers kind of a thing.
Yeah. And so I did the same thing. I was like, and we have Ragnar, like he's the best, and I love him, and like blah. And he just looks at me deadpan and goes, okay. I'm like,
Okay, so Emily, that was the same thing. And that Jordan, when you texted that, I was like, yeah, been there. Because I did the same thing to Jared. I was like, I freaking love Ragnar. Like, he's my homie. And he's just going to go crush everybody. And like, I don't even think he responded to me. And then was just like, I got to. And he was like, yeah, when you were telling me how cool Ragnar was. And to like, also, I love his name because I love all things Viking. And so I'm like, he's Ragnar. Like, Ragnars don't die. They live.
They live in your heart.
They do.
Yeah.
That was intense. It just sucked too. Like leading up to it, he was like, I can take her, I can do this, I'm a warrior. And then she's just like, / bitch, you're dead. And I'm like, no.
Well, okay, so I'll take that into another question. Do we think it was necessary? Like, what if Aja, like what if Pierce Brown had written it so that Ragnar did kill Aja at that point? Did Ragnar have to die? I know.
I hate to say this answer because I love Ragnar, I think he did. And
Okay.
here's my because his death caused a domino effect of like
Yeah.
Steffi, joining the rebellion ultimately, right? Or being open to the truth, if you will, and then like leading the Obsidians to join the battle. I think
Yeah.
that there were comments being said in the other books, if I'm remembering this correctly, about like, Ragnar was the muscle behind the Reaper. So
Mm.
I look at it a little bit like, could Darrow have really stepped into his full potential as the Reaper if Ragnar was his muscle behind him? Like that isn't good optics in a rebellion. Not that I have led one, but I would assume.
Yeah.
And I think it brought, like, he became the rallying cry for the Obsidians to join and for Darrow to really step up.
No, that's pretty. I think that you're right because obviously, if Aja hadn't killed him, then Sephi doesn't go on her journey, and none of that sort of sets the stage for the reuniting and the rebuilding of the
Like the
Rising,
whole,
because that was the whole point of them going there in the first place. Because
yeah,
then the next question that you could ask is, okay, let's say that he was successful and he killed Asia and he lived, would he have convinced his mom? Like, would he, like, the whole point was to try to like get his sister out from under his mother's thumb and kind of get her to like but it took I guess I would agree with you that it took his death for her to kind of get to that point and then for the Rising to get to where it needed to be.
yeah.
It just sucks that it had to happen. That's all.
And remind me, wasn't Ragnar's mission though not to like wasn't he going to kill his mom?
Yeah.
Wasn't that the point? And so
He
that makes me think
always
like
thought he would have to kill her, that
yeah,
she wouldn't ever
she
just,
wouldn't listen, so he
yes.
was going to have to kill her. And he knew that. And I think he expressed that one way or another. And so knowing that tidbit, that almost makes me feel like he didn't have to die because one way or another, he was going to have to kill his mom, which would have then still released Sephi, which would have then still got like this Valkyrie and like all of these people rallied behind him, or it would have led to like an Obsidian civil war, and then that would have been a whole other problem to deal with.
Yeah, that's
So that
true.
could have gone either way. But I think knowing what his mission was, I don't think he had to die. I really don't. I wish he hadn't. I honestly I thought Cassius was gonna die at this point. Like I thought because Mustang had been shooting him with arrows, like pew pew pew. I thought he was gonna be out and not make a comeback. So I thought that was the end of his chapter.
Okay, well, here's another question. Were we surprised that we managed to get Octavia, Asia, and the Jackal all in one book? Because I was pretty shocked by that. I'm not gonna lie.
No,
As it
because
was
it was
getting,
a planned trilogy, so I was expecting the demise of the three of them.
I guess that's true. And I mean, I did feel like the ending was like this neat little bow, to be perfectly honest.
Oh, I didn't feel that way, like,
I
at
did.
all, I guess. Even, like, I felt like it was very, to me, it was not a neat little bow at all. It was more so, and I haven't started the fourth book, but I felt like it very much wrapped up what was probably the original plan. Pierce Brown, I don't know you, never talked to you.
Would love to though. Would love
Tell
to.
us. We would
Come
love
Feel
to
free to
know.
come on anytime. Robert one day he was like, "Oh, are you guys talking to Pierce Brown?" I was like, Robert. Wow,
You sweet,
your
sweet angel.
like your confidence in us is. I wish that many people believe that much in me every day. I was like, but no, we're not.
Yet.
But
We're not yet.
so to me, it was very much it concluded what had been this original story, but left it so open to the fact that, like, things are just because this rebellion, this phase of the rebellion is completed, Octavia's no more, life is not going to just turn around and be better for everybody. I mean, there's still so many open things, not just when it comes to the Reds, but there was all of this talk about, the Obsidians and what does their life look like now, having one, if they were a part of society, like they were used in a very specific way, and then the ones that lived off on their world and their planet, like getting them to be a part of everyday society was going to be a struggle. So to me, it was kind of like, and I know Megan was saying this off pod, is very much at like post-war, what does it actually look like? That was my interpretation of the ending, is like, oh, okay, we got through phase one
Yeah.
and phase one, but like there's a long road ahead for these characters, for this society, for these people. And that's to if our theme of this is like, is this realistic? Or could it be realistic? I think that that's like really true to what that would look like, or what we see with any war in real life, is like the war doesn't just end one day and then all of a sudden we're like, okay, so like everybody good? We all agree now, right?
True.
I took away, I agree with you, Brie, on that statement. I also am very weary of Lysander, because he is a impressionable little kid who just witnessed a gruesome triple murder, whatever, right? Like of people that he like knew and grew up with. And like, I am very curious his role in the second trilogy, because it's 10 years later, will be a grown adult. And there's a lot of different routes that he can go. And I think he's a major, I don't want to say loose end, but he's a major wild card in how like restoration and everything goes forward.
Yes, 100%. And you made me think of another one. I'm very weary of the Rim,
Yes.
because they also, like, they did not end on amicable terms with Darrow.
No.
Like, it was very much this is just the beginning. So that's another loose end that I'm like, oh, they're not done.
Well, and then
No,
I think too of like everybody that's in hiding, like all of the golds who fled, like they're not just going to be like, oh, shoot, guess we have to come back now. Like they have their own power, and I mean, or whatever they're doing out there, that they are still thinking, well, I'm still a gold, I can still do whatever I want.
Yeah, they're not just going to accept that reds, pinks,
Right.
violets, everybody is just, they're not going to accept equality.
No.
I also think about, and this is I'll call it a loose end then too, like all of the institutions that have been set up for these different colors. So like, I think for the pinks, they call it the garden, right?
Yeah.
Right, pinks in training get sent to. And that's not gonna, I'll just leave it there. But like, that is a gold created thing, and that would be a loose end, because now they're not gonna let that stand, right? You've got reds that have been in mines, that have been in certain work camps and whatnot. They're gonna not let that stand. Obsidians, Brie, you talked about that, right? Obsidians are sort of a very distinct purpose, and they're not, how do you integrate them back in? And I think all of those could erupt. I don't envy Mustang's job at the end of this book.
Well, and if you think too, like, I mean, the whole class system was set up so that every single person had their purpose, their role. So like, what are you going to do with the blues, who are all bred to operate ships and that's all they know? Well, can they even do anything else? Can they now run numbers and be accountants? Or what if they want to be pinks? What if they're like, holla, let's kick off the shoes and do my own thing? I like physically don't think that they can do that. So I'm so curious, like what, I don't like and then, oh my gosh, sorry, this is like making me think, like the way that truly, their like reproductive systems were built. Like you can't just have like intermingling. It doesn't work that way. So how are you going to build a future where that's acceptable when you literally can't even mate, if you will, with another? Yes, you can't cross-pollinate. That's not happening.
Well, another reason too, right, for Mustang to hide packs even as well. So no, those are good questions. Go for it, girl.
I know this is a chaos question, but I am curious because I think this is a fun one. So imagine if all of us had survived the rebellion and we'd helped change the world and Mustang's sovereign and we were all part of that war party. What would be the very first normal thing you'd want to do afterwards? I'm just
after winning a war.
Yeah, the book ends right with Mustang and Darrow like walking into Parliament and taking power. So the battle, that part's over. It's now going to move into Reconstruction and post-war. So if you imagine if you were part of that war party, what would be the first normal thing you'd want to do after, hey, we just won the war and we've changed the course of society? What's your next move?
This is stupid. I think I would take a nice hot shower.
Literally,
like you have been through all of this shit. You're covered in blood. Go take a shower.
Shower's probably a good. After a shower, the first thought that came to my mind was having a margarita.
Okay,
there you go.
Yeah,
I don't know. I just feel like that's a well-earned, well-deserved margarita.
Crisp margarita.
Yeah.
I like it. What about you?
Yeah, I guess after a shower as well, because not gonna walk around in that. I think if there's like a bottle of champagne, I'd pop a bottle of champagne with hopefully Jared survived too, and we can clink glasses together to celebrate.
Yeah.
And then take a nap, an undisturbed nap.
Yeah. That's the other thing too, is like go to sleep for like 10 years after all of that plotting and manipulating and killing people
and anxiety.
Take a shower, then go to bed.
Yeah, Emily, you're like, what are you? And I was like, I'd hibernate. Like, I'd be like, guys, I'm gonna eat cake and like sit in my house and sleep.
I love that for you. I do love that for you.
No, I'm on the same page. I just think it's a fun question, like just to think about, right? Is what would you do? Realistically, 100%, it would be a very long hot shower. It'd be a glass of champagne, right? I'm with you, Rita, to cheers. I'd probably go for a pedicure, which sounds so cliche and like over the top, but like
so
just
true.
Relax, and then I take a nap and be like, don't call me, don't need me for a little bit.
That's so true. I would for sure get a manicure. I'd be like, look, they've been through it.
There you go.
Part of them are missing. Like, let's put those back on.
Yeah, I'm like, can we put some tips on because I need these to grow back? I've been having to like kill people. It's just,
and then I take a nap.
What do you, okay, this is funny. On the flip side, what do you think your husbands would say? Because we're like, let's relax, let's pamper ourselves.
Marco would
what would our husband do?
Marco would 100% have a pour of whiskey.
Alex,
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, 100% would have a pour of whiskey.
I think Alex would say the same. He'd like, I would want to like have clean clothes and shower and like, get rid of battle. And then he'd probably go, I just want to sit. I don't want to sit. I just want to sit.
I just want to sit for a little bit. No, that's a good one. I feel like, here's the thing. I honestly don't know that showering would cross my husband's mind as like the first thing.
That's why
I feel like he'd be like, and let's celebrate and let's crack some beers. We did it, boys. Let's hang out. And then he would probably shower after. This is his thought. I'm already sweaty. I'm gonna party. And then I'm going to go take a shower.
Jared would be in the shower longer than me. Like he would I don't think he would come out for days. I think he would just sit in the shower.
Everything.
Yeah, I think he would just sit in the shower for a long time, and then eventually when he came out, he would be like, I think I'm gonna go fishing for a while. And
I just need to clear my mind.
That's kind of my sister.
I really gotta go decompress. But he would take a longer shower than all four of us combined.
Oh, yeah.
Probably.
Well, Jared already showers like 4 times a day, it seems like. So.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
He would have been in the shower in between battles.
He would not have missed a shower. Like there would have been, he would have found a way to clean himself. He wouldn't.
You're telling me he would not have been part of, what was it, Arco's crew that didn't wash their armor after battle for good luck? Remember that book too?
That whole superstitious thing.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Which is interesting because like he was a baseball player and they are superstitious about stuff like that. But when it comes to his showers, he's a minimum 2 a day.
That is so interesting.
Hilarious.
Oh my gosh.
We don't have to keep recording, but I just want to say that my husband has he really likes using dry shampoo because he doesn't want to have to shower all the time. So he would probably post battle just blast his hair real quick with some dry shampoo and get back out there.
Call it good.
That smells so good. He'd be like, let's celebrate.
Yes, he'd be like, just give it a whiff. I'm good. Put on some deodorant.
Well, that's like because we're going hiking later this year and we're not going to be able to shower. And Jared was like, we're going to be so stinky.
Like, dude, it's like a day.
Okay.
Did anyone think Severo, I should be like kind of careful. Did anyone think Severo had actually died?
Yes. I was heartbroken.
There we go. Yeah, we'll end
I was
with
ready
that
to
one.
like freaking kill Cassius myself for doing that.
I was not going to pick up book 4 if that actually stuck around. I was like, I'm done. Pierce Brown, I'm out. You took Ragnar. You took Severo. There's nothing left.
We're done. And we're done.
I do love how he came back because, like, obviously they like do stims, and he was so just like. It's like he was like so high he couldn't come down.
Was a little like, what's happening?
Okay, so on that note, Megan has already started book 4. Emily, I know you are ready to go. I'm going to read it. Jordan, are you continuing?
No, I don't care.
I'm probably content to leave this one here, to be honest. I think so. Now that's not to say that I don't want to hear updates on like our reading recaps or honestly, Marco has already started Iron Gold and because he was telling me about like the multiple points of view and kind of the time lapse. So listener, I guess Iron Gold starts, Megan was talking to us about this before the podcast started, before we started recording. Like it starts like 10 or 15 years like after. So like now they're in their 30s and we're getting different POVs. We're not just getting Darrow's. So am I going to be curious to hear about it? Yes. I'm also okay not picking it up. And that's probably also where I was like, cool, great. And you like, we kind of talked a little bit about it as far as like I felt like the ending wrapped up well enough for me. It was like, okay, cool, perfect. And to your point, you know, you could tell like, oh yeah, this was meant to be a trilogy. Like this was initially where it was going to end. And then it probably kind of built up a cult following and had, you know, big enough, you know, traction that Pierce Brown was like, and here's more. And I don't have a problem with that at all. It's also
how it goes. That's like also how ACOTAR became what it is. That was a planned trilogy.
I did not know that. But there you go. There you go.
Yeah, was originally like a 3-book contract, was supposed to be a trilogy. That's part of the reason that there was like a novella after book 3 is to like help segue into the next
Oh,
one.
well, there you go. There you go. That makes sense. That makes sense. So, not to say I don't want to hear about it or anything like that. This was a series, listener, that while I did appreciate and loved and enjoyed, it was also just harder for me to get into. I did love the progression of each book. I'm with all of you as well, that like I think it, just kind of all culminated. And Pierce Brown is a great writer where he kind of built upon everything that he had laid out, which I thought was really good. So yes.
I think it's a good point though, just wrapping up the series, and we've said it several times, this is a sci-fi series, like for sure. This, like, if that,
and it's a really great sci-fi series.
Great sci-fi series, and you might like it. If you like sci-fi, you'll probably love it. If sci-fi isn't your deal, it's you toss of the coin, but it's definitely science fiction, space, dystopian book.
Yep.
Yes. Definitely.
And who would have thought that would be, and who would have thought that would have been Megan's cup of tea?
No. I love it.
Turns out.
That is, just so you know, Megan, that is like one of my greatest wins of the year this far, is that you were this hooked on Red Rising. So thank you.
I will say, I've read that series and I've read Project Hail Mary. So like now I'm just
Well, that's the thing is I'm like, we've been in Red Rising. We've all now read Project Hail Mary, like just finished that. And I'm like, do I just stay in space and do atmosphere next? Like, I'm like,
definitely have to do atmosphere.
Do I just keep the space theme going for the whole year?
Honestly, I could see following something like this with atmosphere. I'm not going to lie. And I feel like it would be great for you. I'm just going to throw that out there.
I'm like, do I have other space books like on my radar? Because I feel like I've been liking being out there. So
have you read, okay, this might be going back, but The Martian?
I haven't read it. I've seen the movie, but I haven't. Yeah.
Okay. Well, it would give away the ending then, because The Martian is also like Project Hail Mary, a on the edge of your seat sci-fi space story.
Does anybody know what is Andy Weir's background? Does anyone know? Like, no need to Google it right now. Okay.
No. Mm-mm. And I don't have a book near me to like read his quick bio on the back.
No worries. I'll go down that rabbit hole on my own later on.
Report back, please.
Yes, tell us.
Oh, I mean, just at a quick glance for you, sorry. I mean, no wonder. He's got a background in computer programming. Yep. That's believable. He did some fan fiction for Ready Player One.
Oh, interesting.
So I mean, that's all definitely like in his wheelhouse, almost, if you will. He's definitely into, like he's done research into like orbital mechanics, and he's into like.
There's fan fiction of Ready Player One.
There you go. Yes, indeed. Apparently there is.
Okay.
So
I'm not sure I would say orbital mechanics is next on my TBR, but I respect his choices.
But I will say, up next for the podcast, because I'm super excited for our next series as we wrap up and we say goodbye to our friends, the Reds.
You say goodbye.
All of the classes.
Yeah, you might be saying.
Oh, that's true. Okay. I will say farewell and goodbye. Emily, Bree, and Megan, and you, listener, may not. But we are reading next Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. I'm super excited for this trilogy. I think that this one will be very interesting and will give us some good topics of conversation as well to bring to the podcast.
Quick question. Has everyone seen the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. So this is going to be really interesting because this is oh, no, Brie hasn't? Okay.
I've not seen the movie.
So, I've read the first book. So this will be a reread on the first book, but I haven't read books 2 and 3.
Okay, yeah.
And then I've seen the movie. Obsessed with both. So
I've only seen the movie. I, at the time of viewing the movie, did not know it was a book series.
Same.
Now I know. So now I'll be curious to like compare movie to book.
Well, and this will be one of the first times that I'm attempting to read a book that's been adapted into a film after watching the movie, because I almost always read the book first.
Yeah.
So I think that will be curious for me, like if that plays a factor. It's also been a long time since it's come out, both the book and the movie, and it's been a while since I've watched it too. So I'm intentionally like not watching it just so that I can keep separate. I will probably watch it again after I read it, but anyway. So yes, that will be our next one, is Crazy Rich Asians by Kevin Kwan. I feel like I should end by saying it's not that I haven't loved this world and reading this series. The whole point of things like book clubs and things like this podcast, right, is you get exposed to and you get to read different things that you wouldn't otherwise pick up or that wouldn't come across your desk, if you will. And so I really do appreciate that we got to experience this world and to discuss it together. And I'm excited for more of what's to come. So, cheers.
Break the chains.
Break the chains!
There you go.
But also slag off.
Yeah.
All right, till next time, friends. Cheers.
Cheers.
Cheers. Thanks so much for listening. The Narratives and Nightcaps podcast is a production of The Craft Co. with intro music created by Remington Haynes.
Subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. Follow at Narratives and Nightcaps on Instagram or visit our website, narrativesandnightcaps.com.
Sign up for our newsletter to always know what we're reading next, which authors are joining us on the show, and for extra bookish and beverage info.
Connect with our additional co-hosts, Jordan and Emily, as well.
You can find me on Instagram at Cozy Reads and Sips.
And you can find me on Instagram at books.bottles.
Cheers!
Cheers.